What is up, YouTube friends? SKS here with another episode of the Texas State Bobcats Dynasty. We are coming off the greatest season and probably run ever. Our first year in the Pac-12 has somehow yielded a BCS national championship. Is this normal? No, it's a video game, but we are going to take it because the team we had assembled this year was one of the best that we've had. I was crunching some stats as I always do because I'm a big nerd, and if you follow me on stream on Twitch where I play Super Mega Baseball 3, I have the spreadsheet public for everybody to look at the season stats and everything. I keep it personally for this dynasty, and I was just breaking it down and looking at how much we've grown as a team. Honestly, this was one of our weaker seasons, production-wise. We had less offense, and we gave up a hell of a lot more on the defensive side of the ball. We give up almost 600 yards more on the defensive side, and we lost about 1,500 offensively. We scored more points a game, so I guess that means we were more efficient on that side of the ball. Our passing yards per game went down about 15, which going from Justin Horn, who seemed like he threw a lot more. But, Brian Jones did at the start of the season start out sluggish. But he set the record for the most passing yards. So it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know how to interpret it. Our rushing yards, though, did make up for a lot of that. We went from about 97 yards a game rushing last season to 134 this year, and that's solely on the back of John Mccoy. John McCoy willed us a lot of wins this season, and if you watched, you all know that that's the truth. Last year, here's the biggest difference in our team dynamic. If you want to build a championship squad, last year we had 36 passing touchdowns to 18 rushing touchdowns. This year, we had 21 passing touchdowns and 35 rushing touchdowns. And the thing that blows my mind is a lot of our close games, people were saying, "Oh, well, it's Heisman difficulty and stuff." Our turnover difference, and I didn't know this until I looked it up, and there's no way we should have won the national championship with this, was -8. We give the ball up 8 more times than we got it back. That is just astounding to see that number at -8. I mean, I was looking back through the seasons, and that is a number we've not reached since like season 2, where we were -20. We were -12 that first season, but that was a 7-5 year. So for us to have a -8, it just kind of like blew my mind because I thought we were going the other way. We hit that 0 mark where we're even, and last year we were +2. This year -8. Maybe it's the caliber opponents we played. I don't know, but that did blow my mind that was the case. Now, what are some of the issues we got looking forward? I mean, well, recruiting has not been strong this year unless, we just won the national championship. So we should lure some of these people in the offseason to sign with us. But we're going to have a lot of people leave. I'd say it's a mass exodus, not just our seniors, which we've got over 10 seniors, but I would say some players that are juniors who, like Brian Jones and Sean Burnett, may declare for the pros, and I don't think I'm going to be able to keep them here. We had a number of All-Americans. John McCoy, TJ Manning, Troy Cameron, Randy Booth, and Brad Kinnery were all first team. Chuck Denman, as a junior, was a second team All-American returner behind Kinnery. We had 3 freshman All-Americans in Caleb Benson, Jeff Melton, and Daryl Lumpkins. So that's all defensive, which is what we need. We've got to grow our defense. And then 2 award winners, Brad Kinnery won Best Returner, and TJ Manning as a junior won Best Linebacker. Brad Kinnery won that award 2 years in a row. So that is, I don't know. I did notice that the 3 freshmen who won All-Americans or All-American freshmen, Benson and Melton were our 2 highest signees from last year. Some of the other guys we've not really seen anything of. So maybe next year they will blossom. But looking at just other differences, we had less interceptions. We had more fumbles caused. And we had 13 less sacks. So our defensive line did not get to the quarterback this year. We did not put a lot of pressure. So the defensive side of the ball really is what we need to work on. Now, I'm saying this now before I hit this button to advance the week because I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, there's a big difference. I guess the last thing I'll talk about before I hit this and we go to the off season is we did have 4 records set. Brian Jones set the individual game passing yard records. He eclipsed Justin Horn with 457 in a game. And for the season, he also set the team record with 4,043 passing yards. Career-wise, Sean Burnett is now the best receiver we've ever had on the team. As a junior, he has amassed 2,730 yards in receiving. And Brad Kinnery, who last year set the team record for longest kick return of 107 yards, eclipsed that this season and set a new NCAA record of a kick return of 109 yards. So that is pretty amazing to have the NCAA record. He is the only Bobcat we have. There's other records that are just going to stand the test of time. Tom Sutton has a number of rushing records for the team. Unless we get an amazing running back who can do 4 years. Tom Sutton did in 1 year or 2 years what some players take a career to do. But with all this said, I just want to do this. We don't know what our coaches are going to do. I'd say they're going to jump. We've got Chad Dorsey as our offensive coordinator. He's only been here a season, and we won. Jesse Broussard has been here for, looking through the things, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. He's been with us since season 1. No, season 2. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. So I'm going to hit this button, and we'll see what it brings up, and we'll cover it as we go. Just wanted to throw this out here. I love what it says on top of the world. The Bobcats take home the national championship behind the arm of Jones. I do like this. I went to the AD just to see if it updated. I've never seen this before. We like to recruit nationally, so hope you saved your frequent flyer miles, coach. Look, can we not fly this man first class? Why does he need frequent flyer miles? Close but no cigar. In a tight contest, Texas State edges Notre Dame 20-14. And here we go, the final coaches poll. They dropped Notre Dame down to 5th. Oh, man. We received all 61 first-place votes. This makes it super official. Texas State, the Bobcats are your national champions at 13-1, followed by 2 other 13-1 teams who could have been deserving of a bid in that game of Miami and Ohio State. That is kind of scary. Let's see what the rest of the ratings look like. Let's see if the media actually split their votes out. We got 38, which is the majority. Miami got 24, so some bad blood between Miami and Texas State. Maybe we need to throw Miami on the schedule next year, which could be dangerous depending on who leaves. Ohio State and Texas on here. So hopefully this will help us in recruiting. The 4-year outlook of championship contenders. They have us going first this year, obviously, because we just won it. And dropping down to 5th. That's not a big drop. I actually thought it would be more. And obviously since 2019, 2020, nobody knows what's going to happen. We drop down, so they don't think we can sustain it. They think we're just going to be a program that rose to the top, and then we're going to start cooling off, which is always a possibility. It looks like their favorites going forward are OSU and looks like Notre Dame, which you can't argue with that. I find this funny. They're sitting here wanting to sign me to an extension. You the contract. You did it, coach. Everyone here is so impressed with your job they've done. They've decided to offer you an extension. Career record is 50-15. At 5 years at Texas State. Look at that growth. 7-5, 9-4. We went to the GoDaddy.com Bowl. Next season, next 2 seasons, we won the Sun Belt and won the New Orleans Bowl, or went to the New Orleans Bowl. 10-3 and 11-2. And last year we went to the Pac-12 and won the BCS championship. So it's interestingly enough, we can always, if you all want to change schools, we could do that with Conquest. But I think, look at his record against the top 25, 7-6 though. He's got a perfect bowl record though. But I think we at least have to come back at least 1 year and try to avenge and win it back again. Because 1 year in the Pac-12, it could be a fluke. We'll see what happens. I enjoy Texas State, so let's stay here. Are you sure you want to be able to continue with this contract? You want to be able to select another until this contract is completed. So this locks us in. Five more years, huh? I think that's okay. Head coach job of Michigan is open, and so is USC. We'll see if they bring them back. Oh, we're stuck in a contract, but see what happens. All right, so I was looking on here, and it looks like Jesse Broussard, our defensive coordinator, which may have been the one I thought would want to leave because we've not been too good on defense. He has signed and actually got an extension. Now, with that said, our offensive coordinator, who I guess it makes sense with the team that he had, he actually left. So Dorsey has left. And we have a new, I hope to God that he's a head coach somewhere. Because if he left for another coordinator job, I'm going to be a little upset. But we have a new offensive coordinator. His name is Matt Nelson. I'm not sure where he come from. I'll search through here and find out. And we'll go from there. So good for him. You know what? I'm not even going to be bitter. Chad Dorsey took the head coaching job at Troy. So you know what? You cannot be mad at somebody for moving up. I mean, you come off a national championship. You're working with Coach Conquest. You know what? More power to him. So good luck there at Troy. Here in Alabama, we used to play them. We might need to put him on the schedule just to welcome him to the league in the head coaching fraternity. So I'll keep that in mind. But congrats to Chad Dorsey, our old offensive coordinator. He's got him a head coach job now. So it looks like our new offensive coordinator used to be the head coach at Tennessee. Matt Nelson was fired from an SEC team, so he finds a job here. It doesn't say anything else about it. It just says we see more about their new head coach, Steven Johnson. But I thought that was very interesting. All right, I had to come back to this because I'm a big nerd. I was looking up through this. Steven Johnson was our offensive coordinator 2 years ago. So he went, get this is the circle of life. Steven Johnson was offensive coordinator for Coach Conquest. We went, I want to say 9-0 in the conference. No, yeah, 9-0 in the conference. We had him, let's see, it looks like 2 years. He was our offensive coordinator for 3 years. Then he bolted and went to Troy. So he has left Troy and now took the job at Tennessee. So he's moved right up. That's actually kind of cool. So we've got some connections with both Tennessee and Troy now. I don't know if we like all of the connections from Tennessee since we got their old coach, but we'll see if we can build him back up. All right, now we come to the hard part. Players leaving. I'm already sad because I know so many good players are leaving. And it pains me. And I don't know if I can take this. And I know a lot of you in chat have been along for the Bobcats for the past 5 years. And some of these guys have been with us 4 and played the majority of them. So let's see if the national championship has created a mass exodus. All right, let's start the pain train. It looks like we start off with one of our highly recruited players from last season, Tim Wynn here, who was our sixth best four-star recruit from last season. Says he's not getting enough playing time. Well, he was redshirted. I'm hoping that I can convince him to stay. He wants to go to New Mexico. You're going to go from a national championship team to New Mexico. I can promise you're going to play next season because we have an abysmal cornerback. Let's see. Looking at my cornerbacks, Brandon Fritz is a junior. He will play. Antoine Morris, who I said his name. Here's the thing that got me really confused. Somebody messaged me and said I called him Anthony Morris because it's spelled Antone. They said that's Antone or Antone Morris or Antoine or something of that nature. He also plays alongside Anthony Nichols, who's a sophomore. The thing is Tim Wynn is 74. So if everybody slides up, Jeff Melton is obviously going to be probably our number one corner. Depending on how well he develops, Tim Wynn would probably play some, but not, I don't know. Let's see what we can do to convince him. He may stay. I mean, I'm looking at the depth chart here. I mean, he's right up there. I don't know. Let's see. Persuasion chance is very low. I mean, I can tell you, I mean, honestly, he's probably not going to say. It doesn't say start. But I could say, I can make him situational, and I'll say he could play in 9 games. I just need an opportunity to showcase what I can do. Sorry, coach. All right, so we lost him. He's leaving no matter what. J.D. Carter is a projected just a 3rd round pick. I'm going to spend some time with these guys because I'm just so close to them. We brought him in as a transfer. I can remember the day that he wanted to come and we needed to fill that hole, and it turned out we wouldn't get him that upcoming season. And I was so angry at myself for not understanding that. And then he hit the field, and my God, did he dominate. Especially when we had to put somebody to cover a scrambling quarterback. J.D. Carter was there to just hold the line. I am really hoping that he gets drafted. I think if they do, it shows the position. I've already got the draft pulled up so we could say what team he would actually go to. So looking at his records, he finishes with 170 tackles. 52 of those were for a loss, 8 assisted, 11 sacks over his career. Again, it goes down because instead of him blitzing, I had to hold him back for these running teams. Two interceptions, not bad. And a lot of pass deflections, some fumbles forced. Great career. J.D. Carter, I am definitely going to miss this guy. A 90 overall. I mean, he developed, and he was there for the team. Randy Booth. Only a 7th round pick. Whoever gets Randy Booth is going to get somebody who knows the game of football with that 99 awareness. And his ability, that 86 hit power, he can light some people up in the NFL. 244 tackles. Now, you don't like to see your corners getting that many tackles and your safeties getting that many tackles because that means people's running through. Well, that's the nature of NCAA 14 on Heisman difficulty. They're going to get a lot. 37 tackles for loss. He had 16. Look at that sack production. 16 quarterback sacks, 2 interceptions. We've just never been able to. He was a power safety, not a coverage. He just never could bring anything down. He did have 10 deflections, and again, like Carter, he had some forced fumbles. Gonna miss Randy Booth. I don't feel like I had to yell at his name in vain as much as I did some other players, but it just seemed like he was always there when we needed him in the backfield, getting in the quarterback's junk. Cliff Hines. Cliff Hines did not play that much, which is kind of surprising. He was an overall 78, but at the left tackle spot, we had some people who were above him, and it was kind of amazing that he just didn't get in that much. It seemed like Joe Wood paid a lot more than him, and then we would Chad Broussard, who is one of the coach's sons, seemed like he would go over there and play that left tackle from the right tackle spot a lot. Trey George. Not a lot to say about Trey George. He was the backup. He did get in. We did get him his one shining moment, one passing touchdown. He ends his college career with a 100% completion rate. And I don't think that he was never sacked and 100% completion. That is a record that will never be broke. And it was not just one pass, 3 for 3, 24 yards and a touchdown. You know what? He's probably going to coach someday, and he can always get onto his quarterback and be like, what's your completion? Oh, 56%? Mine was 100. Awesome. Brad Kinnery from Waxahachie, Texas. I don't know how many games that he kept us in with run-back touchdowns. And I'm sad that Brad Kinnery is not going to go to the pros. And I'm sure it's because of his height and the position he plays. But I thought like a Devin Hester, he may go. And people say, oh, well, you need to edit the players and they'll get drafted. I don't want to do that. Brad Kinnery is probably going to be in the Texas State Hall of Fame. I wish I could persuade him. He won the best returner 2 years in a row. 92 receptions. Over 1,500 yards in his career. He almost had 900 this season. He averaged about 16.8. That is really nice. 17 touchdowns. Now that's just receiving touchdowns. We'll look at a different category here in a minute. 80-yard reception is his longest. And, he built up. Again, his yardage come from somewhere else. I'll go through here. Only 10 drop passes in his entire career, and you can see that he got better as time went on. But obviously, yeah. 108 kick returns, and he amassed almost 4,000 yards, averaging 36 per return, 10 kick return touchdowns in his career. 104. I love that 2 yards was his longest kick return in 2014. And then it's 104, 107, and the NCAA record of 109. He never returned a punt, but he did almost amass 1,000 yards in that as well. And, 11 yards, that brings it back. Brad Kinnery is just one of those players that speed and acceleration, he's going to be missed. I'm going to really miss this guy. And that acceleration was just amazing. A 93 injury, and he got injured that 1 year and missed a big chunk of it too. That's the sad part, is he was out for some time. But yeah, I really thought some team he'll be a free agent that's signed undrafted. I guarantee it. Matthew Roberson. This man probably hates my soul on how many times that I mispronounced his name. Called him Robertson a lot. Roberson, leaving the R out. But Matthew Roberson, dude made some catches for us. Overall 90, acceleration 99. Just another amazing player. Did get tired a little bit. We had to sub some people in for him. Looking at the stats, 138 receptions, over 2,000 yards. A solid 500 yards every season. 15 and a half, 9 receiving touchdowns. His longest was 65 that freshman year. I remember when he come onto the scene and we went over top of everybody and he caught it and ran it in. That's when we knew he was going to be something special. He's just 469 yards after the catch. I mean, he just 18 drop passes. If there was a weakness on him, he did drop a few. But honestly, Roberson was usually playing the one spot, and he had the best cornerback on him all the time. They were actually defending him more than anything else. So I'm not going to hold that against him too much. Ricky Jacobs out of McAlester, Oklahoma, our right guard. I know that he was in there a lot. Only give up 9 sacks in the 2 years, 10 pancake blocks. Very nice for him. Just a good all-around player. He held the line. We got to get some guys with stamina. I didn't notice it was this long. But a big, stocky guy. I know that he laid some good blocks on screens before. I've yelled out his name, but we're going to miss him. Chad Broussard was in the line and played pretty decently. Not a lot of stats to show for it, but, coaches' kids, it's hard to give them preferential treatment. Sean Young, defensive tackle out of Killian, Texas. Gotta like a kid for that. 13 tackles in his career. He didn't get a lot of playing time. He played behind some big dudes. We were stout on the defensive tackle line. And so by the time he got up, 3 sacks, though, in his opportunities, and 2 forced fumbles. You can't ask for anything more than that. Roy Cameron. Cameron was one of those guys that I hated at the start, and then he just grew into it. 121 tackles, 15 of those for a loss, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. That's really high for our secondary. And a lot of pass deflections, forced 2 fumbles in his career, and got 2 back. So he seemed like he was always Johnny on the spot. He was there when we needed him. Speed and acceleration at 88. We just needed some safeties with some hands. So good career for Troy. He earned it. I mean, he played a little bit his freshman year, and then he just accelerated from there. That's all you can ask for is that growth. John Mccoy. I thought John McCoy may get drafted as well, but evidently not. John McCoy out of Dallas, Texas, took over after Tom Sutton walked out the door. He also took over when we thought that Thomas was going to be our running back of the future. And he just put the team on his back, and he grew. 1,600 yards rushing this past season. Finished 4th place in the Heisman voting. Averaged 5 yards a carry. 115 yards average this last season, which brought it up to 68.7 when he didn't get to play a lot. 32 rushing touchdowns. 20 of those was this season. I mean, 812 yards after the first hit. He had 11 rushes of more than 20 yards, 9 broken tackles, only fumbled the ball 3 times. Now, that's just on that. I mean, you look at his receptions, he had 34 of those. Never had a touchdown catch. That is crazy. I never even thought about that. So, John McCoy, yeah, I cannot say enough about him. He just... I don't think he ever threw the ball. No, I didn't think so. And I don't think he ever returned the ball either. No, we never put him back there in danger. But yeah, if there's an award for giving it to somebody who carried the team, it's definitely him. Tom Sutton was a hard shadow to get out of, and I think John McCoy somehow achieved that. Oh, the pain train hits hard here. Darius Fields, left end, Fort Stockton, Texas. Darius Fields, I wish I could persuade him to stay. 95 tackles, 56 of those for a loss. 32 quarterback sacks. I'm pretty sure that's 17. Let me check my numbers here. I thought that he set a record with that. But he had to be close or tie. I think he tied the sack record with 17 last year. He did have a defensive touchdown. The big man ran it in. Pass deflection, forced a fumble, recovered 4. I mean, Darius Fields, good Lord, he's been here since the start, it feels like. And I'm going to miss that booger. Darius Fields a good one. I don't know how we ever replace him. To be quite honest, looking at my depth chart, there's nobody close to replacing him. We got Frank Rankin, but he's got a year left, so... yeah, irreplaceable. Darius Fields, going to miss him. Zach Jackson, right tackle. He was in the game a lot, but honestly, I never had to call his name out because he didn't screw up that much. I'm sure that on times when I was like, oh, you let somebody go by, because he'd give up 19 sacks. He had 10 pancake blocks, which seems about normal for what we've seen on some of our linemen. But other than that, I mean, he was the starting right tackle, and we didn't... I don't know. Maybe it wasn't him. It says he gave up only 2 this year, only 2 sacks. So that's probably why we didn't call his name out. So when you don't know that guy very well, that means he did his job. So thanks to Zach Jackson. Number 99, Jermaine Hughes from Gonzales, Louisiana. Fields and Hughes have been staples of our defense. And these guys leaving hurts me. 99 tackles, 53 of those for a loss. 27 quarterback sacks in his career. 2 deflections and 3 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. This is the reason why the other guy didn't get to play a lot of defensive tackle, is when you have a stud like Jermaine Hughes in there, there's just not a lot of room for you. And power moves and that finesse is able to get through them. Just amazing. Amazing players that held the team. That is everybody. That is all of our seniors. We're losing 1 transfer. We'll have to see how Carter and Booth do. Like I said, I think it tells you where they go in the draft, because I swear we had Justin Horn get drafted. But move on and see. Goodbye to all these great players, and some of them who just will never be able to replace them. Seeing Kinnery leave and Roberson, they tug at my heart the most. And then defensively, Darius Fields and Jermaine Hughes. And I say that not forgetting John Mccoy, but those other 2 guys, those other 4 guys just played so many years for us. And, you know, Beaumont, Texas, and Waxahachie, Texas, Fort Stockton, Texas, and in Louisiana. These guys are all really close to home, if not home. And there's McCoy at Dallas. One last salute to this gang. All right, let's check out the draft results. And all it says is they went. Oh, Randy Booth actually moved up a round. He went 6th. All right, so it looks like J.D. Carter went in the 3rd round. And I was checking on the 3rd round of the 2017 draft. And it looks like the first team to take a linebacker, and there's 2 possibles because they're really close in the 3rd round, is the Cincinnati Bengals took a linebacker, an outside linebacker. And then the next team to take one was the Baltimore Ravens. So, and that's the only teams that took linebackers in that round. So, J.D. Carter either ended up a Bengal or Raven. Either way, he's stuck in that AFC South. Randy Booth goes in the 6th round, so he did move up a round. And looking at the 6th round to see who took safeties, it looks like Seattle took a 6th round safety. And Dallas Cowboys. And then the Arizona Cardinals. So some interesting locations for both of those guys to land. I wish to kind of give you like the position or what number they went, but that is pretty cool. All right, we come to the hard part where we've got to pick up some few athletes here. We definitely need to go after these defensive tackles in Reggie Bean and Wade Brown. The other people are not super necessary. I've been looking at my depth chart here, my recruiting guide. A guard would be great, but we've got a senior, and we recruited 1. But defensive tackle, we are very thin. But picking up one of those guys would be great. All right, here's who I went with. Wade Brown gets $10,000. I really want him. We need him to shore up that defensive tackle spot. Bonner would be an amazing addition, and I'm going to throw $950 into Josh Green. I used 50 points, the reason why it's not 1,000, on this other player I was debating, and he turned out to be a bad guy. Down here, it was another lineman, and he turned out to be a bust. Yeah, he lost 5 overall, so that was a really good – it was a good investment of points, but we'll see how it goes. This is a big gamble. I mean, some team, if California puts all 15,000 on Wade Brown, they'll get him. But you never know. All right, so here we go. It looks like Wade Brown, we did get him. We got Derek Lott, the wide receiver that I didn't even think would happen. Josh Green decided to take his talents to Tulane. We got another defensive tackle, which I didn't think we'd get, John Smith. So, you know, we got our defense. We did not get that guard that I wanted. He went to Northwestern. I guess he wants a journalism degree. Let's take one last look at the board. Looks like Chauncey Vickers didn't sign with anybody. Josh Green, we lost him by 140 points. That one hurts. And I'm sure when we look down here at like John Smith, we probably overspent. Only won him by 680. Derek Lott won him outright. Wade Brown, we spent. Well, you know, I probably put too much on him, but that's okay. Bonner, good Lord, they did. They put the whole house into him. So I'm not too mad about that. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Let's check out all of our signings. All right, so overall, we are the 27th ranked recruiting class. We got a lot of 1-stars. I'm going to guess those are walk-ons just to fill roster spots since so many people graduated. We got 1 5-star, which is not bad because not a lot of teams get those. Like Georgia Tech got 3 of them. Oklahoma had your #1 overall class. Notre Dame, so they're reloaded. Texas, Virginia Tech, Alabama. Good Lord. These guys are ready to go. We were the #1 class last year, which we didn't need a lot, but we needed to fill some spots. Let's take a look at our signings, and we can see we got Brown, defensive tackle, a 5-star. So that was a big, big deal. We got the wide receiver Lott, 4-star, 6 foot tall, 183. We did get 1 offensive lineman. We may have to put him in where he's needed. Got a quarterback at 6'1", 219, could be the quarterback of the future. An outside linebacker who we may have to put in J.D. Carter's spot. So it does look like we filled some of the needs that we had. I'm not sure about all the needs, but it kind of is what it is. I'll have to look over before I set all the positions and go from there. But you can see we got some athletes, we got a halfback, some other players that may fill some roster spots. These 1-stars, I don't know. We'll see where they go. All right, so here we are at position changes. I am so surprised that Brian Jones stayed with the team. But it looks like right now, there's your 3 leaders for the team. And God help us with number 4 here. Brian Jones will probably be the starting quarterback. Darren Thomas right now is slated at the #1 halfback. And then we got 3 wide receivers, Burnett, Brown, and Chuck Denman, who are ready to go. But I'm going to go through here and look at these positions. Like we have 1 athlete. We'll have to put him in somewhere, but I'm going to fill out my depth charts. And this takes time, and we'll just see what we can do from here. We have 2 quarterbacks. One could be a backup. Yeah, I'm going to have to study over this. So who will be our quarterback of the future? Number 4 quarterback, number 20. There's a big difference. So the potential there is going to be really different. All right, so I'll work with this, and then I'll come back and let you all see what I've devised. All right, here we go. The part you all love, the training results. Now, some players are not going to have any training results, like overall, because, like, think of a Brian Jones. He's 99 already. I am wondering about Darren Thomas's production and some of the other guys who really need to bulk up in the offseason. Ooh, I see. Oh, my Lord. Look at some of those. Still only 3 overall 90s, though. But we've got 3 89s and some 86s. So let's just go by position here and see what we have. Brian Jones. And here's what I was talking about is some of the players who are not on the team yet, they're not going to be doing summer training. So Brian Jones picked up some strength. His awareness is 99 now. That's nice. What about his throw power? That's what we care about. The 99 throw accuracy, his throw power is 98. We should not have any problems whatsoever at quarterback. If he goes down, though, we've got a freshman and then Goodard here who is 70 overall, which is not too bad. That is a pretty good amount of growth. Obviously, he's not going to have the same capacity with 83 and 77. So he looks like he worked on his accuracy. That's what you want to see. Now, Darren Thomas is the one I'm really wanting to look at here. 98 overall. That is a big jump there, +6. So he's one of the biggest jumps on the team. Cochran up to a 78 and Zach Patrick to 78. So 2 halfbacks here. One of them, Zach Patrick is a freshman, maybe a good returner. What's his catching ability? 60. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. But I like speed. His strength only went up 1, so he's still fairly weak. 83 agility. I don't know. This is interesting on the development here, but hopefully Thomas been eating that cheese from Wisconsin. Looking at our fullback, Dylan Lee as a senior is, good Lord, 85 overall. Both of them go up +5. We definitely need him. Look at this acceleration on this dude back here. Jared Watkins is sophomore, 92 acceleration and 70 strength. He is a freak of nature. That's Mike Allstott in the making. Catching and carrying is pretty high. They're still not fast enough to be like a returner or something, but Watkins is very close. He gets that speed up. Oh my Lord, 87 speed. That is, I mean, he is a receiving tight end. We may have to target him a little bit this year. Looking at our wide receivers, and I was really excited about Sean Burnett, 95 overall. That looks tasty. Daryl Brown at 89. That is also amazing. Chuck Denman, 86. Looks like speed category, we're all in the 90s for these guys. So our top 4 guys are in the 80s and 90s. So Willie McTaggart as a junior has really stepped up to play. Look at the acceleration on both Brown and Burnett. We knew Burnett was a stud, but Daryl Brown has really come to his own. Matt Johnson down here, a sleeper. Norton, oh my God, Norton jumps up to 78. So, you know, maybe wide receiver, we're pretty good shape for the next few years. But, you know, obviously the main stat here is that catching. And it looks like Willie McTaggart is, even though it says it's better than Chuck Denman, I don't know about that. Because we've seen him out there. So, nice core that Brian Jones will be throwing to. Looking at our tight ends, Johnny Walker up to 86. So it looks like a lot of +5s across the board for our big dudes. Justin Manning down here, the little brother of TJ Manning. He's 72 overall. He may see a little bit of playing time, probably out there to block some. But we did see Taylor Shaw make a big catch last year, so we'll see if he could play a little bit more this year in our plan. Left tackle, we already looked at this. Let's see if it paid off. It does look like 79 overall on the blind side there, and then Wood up to a 69. So that does help out defense or offensively to keep somebody from blindsiding Brian Jones. I was really trying to develop our line so we didn't have people hitting him all year. We gave up way too many sacks last year. 89-67. That is pretty good for the guard, for the senior. Taking a look at Norton up to 89. So no linemen in the 90s. But it looks like we have braced the line a lot. 78 for Brown. And let's see what Garrett Levine did. He went up to 74. So, and Gray to 69. So, yeah, that's 2 good spots. So if I wouldn't have moved Levine over, Gray would have been the only person there at 69, and we would have had 1 subpar 70. So across our offensive line, we got 79. And I guess I could show it to you. We go 79, 89, 89, 78. So the weak, no, that's the side he could see. So I'm not too much. Ernest Wesley here, this freshman, putting in a lot of work, wanting to be the starter next year, and that's a good way to start. Getting up into the 70s his freshman year. That is very nice. And then 74. So, yeah, 70s across and then 2 80s, almost 90s. So, yeah, the blind side is going to be pretty protected. So that was probably a good move by me to do that. Looking at our defense, left ends, 86 overall. So didn't grow much for Frank Rankin. He didn't get a lot of playtime last year. Stephen Rust, I like to see the freshman at 75. That is very promising. And Larry Marks at 70. So left end looks bright for the future. Jumping over to right end, 85 overall for Benson, the All-American. That's a big growth. See, Galloway, the senior, he's from Georgetown, Kentucky. He's from right up the road here. 83 overall. He has grown tremendously on this team. He just doesn't get to play a lot. That's actually better than one of the defensive tackles, but we've not looked at them yet, and that's what I thought. So 84. Ooh. That is Josh Dawson, the senior, taking back that defensive tackle spot, saying, that is mine. Jeff Mills, the junior, will set as the second defensive tackle, and then it looks like Parker here. It's 73. So the other person that was there was the freshman Wade Brown we recruited. So he'll actually be the backup to the first two defensive tackles when we run the 4-3. So that actually worked out really well. I'm very excited about that. Left outside linebacker, Anthony White going up to 86. You love to see it. Speed 87, acceleration. One of the things I want to know, his awareness is a little low. What do they got for his catching 63? I was kind of wanting to know zone. Jumping 83. Wow, that's actually really good. Tackling and power, yeah, that's great. I kind of want to know 86 pursuit. His zones are a little bit low, so that's going to be an issue. Joey Richard going up to 77 and 72 for the freshman Hill. So our left outside linebacker is developing very well. A senior to come in reserve here, Richard for White, and then we got a freshman in the waiting. Jumping over to middle linebacker, TJ Manning. 81 overall, but yet he was the player of the year last year. That is just mind-blowing that he had that much growth. And it's still so low. I mean, we've catapulted him into a star. And then again, look at this. We got two seniors here at the top, and then sophomores in the waiting at 76 and 70. So middle linebacker is in good shape as well. Right outside linebacker is a little thin, but I think we'll be okay. 82. So our linebackers go 86, 81, 82. So our second layer is very good. Some good acceleration from Caleb Evans here. And then Wilkerson up to 67. And then we've got Mike Thomas, who is a 69 coming in as a freshman. All right, let's look at that tier we were worried about all along. Our secondary. Brandon Fritz, 92. He went up 6. That is tremendous. His speed is 95, but he ran past him. His awareness is 99. He shouldn't do that. So my question is his catching up? Carrying is up. His catching went up 1. He's got in the 80s on route running and jumping, so maybe that will help him. I like this 90 jumping on Melton. Melton is the future. As a sophomore, he is now 85 overall. That is really nice. And then we've got some other younger ones here that can come in when necessary, 84 and 81. We have three cornerbacks in 80s and one in 90. That's pretty special. Looking at our free safety, so Terrell Schneider jumping up to 81. Gibson actually did some work. He is at 80, and then 77 for Jason Goodman, the sophomore. So that is pretty decent. We always carry a good assortment. Look at his speed went up just a little bit more. Gotta love that. Looking at safety, Daryl Lumpkins. This is the one I was curious about. And look, all three of them did a tremendous amount of work. 83, 81, and 80. So all three juniors can play the safety position and probably fill in if we need to put a lot of people out there for defensive coverage. Didn't look like he moved their speed up, so that may be the only thing. Though Taylor may be a possible. I toy with that idea. Who knows? Looking at our kicker, David Carter up to 84. What did you improve, young man? You're wearing. I don't understand kicking awareness, how much that helps, but I guess it's something. So his power went up 4. That's good, some distance, but his accuracy is 82. But, getting in the 80s is really nice. I will take that. Looking at our punter, Fred Pickens goes up 5 to the 80s. So both of our kickers in the 80s. And let's see, he was pretty spectacular last year is a harsh word, but it looks like his accuracy did go up. Still there. He is in the 90 power. So he'll kick it farther. We just got to keep it in. So not bad. So there we go. That is your Texas State Bobcats for the upcoming season, minus, some of the freshmen who are going to come on the team, and we'll have to slot them in. But it looks like an interesting core. Obviously, some of our weak spots that we need to recruit, guards and a center, probably a fullback to replace Dylan Lee, who will be leaving after the year, maybe a tight end, a quarterback. Needs on defense, we've got 2 graduating middle linebackers, so probably need to get somebody else in on that caliber. And then maybe a cornerback, because all those guys are jammed together as juniors and seniors. So not a lot to go after, but we need to be very meticulous at who we go after, because I seem to always jump the gun and go after too many people at the start, and we just lose the majority of them. So I'm going to try to be more meticulous about that. All right, I'm here on the recruiting screen. We've got to build an initial. So what I think I'm going to do is go through here, and just on these top people, you can already see the number 3 wide receiver, actually the number 1 overall wide receiver in the country is interested in us, and the number 1 overall tight end. So I'm just going to add these people in the top, like say 50 players that are interested in us, and I'm not going to do anything else. And then we'll see what else comes on down the line recruitment wise. All right, so I built the board here with just the top 50 athletes who are interested in us, or the top 50 players. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and scout all of these and then remove whoever's a bust. But as you can see here, a lot of preseason scouting only. Yeah, I know that. I've got a lot of linemen on here. That's what we're going to target. But then I'm going to try to wait a little bit into the season and then go after people who are not wanted. I'm kind of hoping that our auto commit thing kicks in a little bit this year and we get some players, but we'll just have to see. So I'm going to go through and scout these guys. All right, recruiting's all set up. I went over as many people as I could. Like I said, I don't know if I'm interested in a lot of them, but we'll see. We'll have to wait till the first season. Let's go ahead and redshirt some players and see who's going to need some work. All right, red shirts are done. I redshirted. The only key person I did was Derek Lott, which was that big wide receiver, because he was just going to be 6th on the depth chart. And I'm going to let him grow. He should be 80 next year when he comes out to play. And he'll be like a Willie McTaggart, and so I'm excited about that. A lot of the other people that I redshirted were in the lower 60s or even 50s. They probably won't be on the team next year, so moving on. So the depth chart, I think we're kind of set up the way we want. Lee's the fullback. There is our wide receiver core. I don't know about Shaw. I don't like this aspect because I know Johnson, yeah, we'll put Johnson in here. So we have 6 wide receivers. This is what I was saying. Derek Lott wouldn't have made this list here, but I think this is an outstanding core. We've got 3 brilliant tight ends that are ready to go. Our left tackle, the only thing I'm really worried about this is some of these guys are going to be war thin. Yeah, Weasley is on here, probably on every single one of them. And that's going to cause issues. So what I'm going to do now is go back and actually edit this to where the actual second left tackle and guard and all this is always going to be on here. All right, the depth chart is now set. You can see here Brian Jones at quarterback. Darren Thomas will have to be our running back, and there's a large gap between him and the next person, Zach Patrick. That scares me a little bit. Dylan Lee at fullback. Sean Burnett, Daryl Brown, Chuck Denman. Chuck Denman will also be our returner. Willie McTaggart, Jamar Norton, the freshman, and Matt Johnson. Both Norton and Johnson will be doing some return duties, but they're down the depth chart below Chuck Denman. Tight end, Johnny Walker and Taylor Shaw. I think Justin Manning may see some time this year. Brian Gray's our left tackle. Joe Jones, Bobby Norton, Kyle Brown, and Garrett Levine leading out the offensive line. Going over to the defensive side, Frank Rankin. I'll mess that name up all year long. Just get ready for it. Caleb Benson, All-American freshman on the right side. Middle line, or defensive tackle, we got Jeff Mills and Josh Dawson. Then we got the freshman phenom Wade Brown in lieu, and then we've got some other people to jump in. Lawrence Galloway, the guy from Kentucky, I'm just putting him in the sub and get him some playing time when I can. Left outside linebacker is going to be Anthony White, TJ Manning, All-American in middle linebacker, and Caleb Evans over at right. Our secondary, we're going to have Brandon Fritz, who it says he's on a hot streak. I don't know about that. Jeff Melton, All-American out there, and then Nichols and Morris backing him up. Free safety, Schneider is going to take over the duties with Gibson and Goodman right behind him, and Daryl Lumpkin, All-American, as the safety. David Carter, the kicker. Fred Pickens, the punter. And here is your return. Obviously, we're going to put Chuck Denman back there, second team All-American returner. Then Phil Harris, Norton, and some of the other guys are going to be behind him. Denman, and then here's Johnson on the punt returns in case something happens. And we'll just go from there and see what happens. Why did I put Phil Harris back there, the safety? He's got 90 speed, 94 acceleration, and he has 70-something catching, I believe, 72. So I'm going to try him out and just see what happens, and maybe we can find a star in the making. I really like that 97. I also didn't want to put Darrell Brown or anybody else out here. There's people with higher acceleration. I just didn't want to see them get injured. So I booted this up, and I wanted to see what our schedule was, and they've already put Troy on there. I'm going to leave this game on here because I think it's only fair that we go after our old offensive coordinator and welcome him. Because look at the rest of our schedule thus far. We start our league games with California, 5th-ranked USC. Cincinnati will replace them. I may actually remove this one and move it to an early game. So we'll have three non-conference games up start, and then we'll go into the conference schedule with that bye week. Oregon's ranked, UCLA's ranked, Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, an off week. And then they've got us playing Texas A&M. That's a rough one there. Let me do some tinkering to this and see what we come up with. All right, here is our schedule for this season. It's a tough one. We start at home against North Texas, and all of the teams that we are playing non-conference have T's in their name. So North Texas. We then go to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers, who has our old offensive coordinator. We then have Troy coming in to Texas State, and they're going to take us on. We then start our conference schedule with California, USC. We get a bye week finally on week 6. Then we go on another slate of 6 games, Oregon, UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. And then we get a week off, and then this could have playoff BCS Bowl complications. Texas A&M, one of our toughest opponents we've ever scheduled. So I don't think there's a way we go through with the same record we did last year. I wanted something a little tough, so we start off easy, and then it really warms up. So we'll just have to see how it goes. And we're ready. Season 6 is ready to go. We start the year off ranked number 6 in the land. Let's go ahead and take a look at the conference outlook just to see what they say about us. They have us once again finishing behind USC in the South. That is okay. That's what they said last year. And we are the 2nd overall best team. They're ranked 5th. We are 6th. But there's a host of ranked teams in the Pac-12. Preseason polls have the Miami Hurricanes back to prominence at number 1. Notre Dame, who we defeated in the national title game, number 2. Texas A&M, who is on our schedule, 3. OSU, USC, and then the Bobcats of Texas State. We play North Texas in the first game. Texas, Georgia, Michigan, and Michigan State round out the top 10, and you can see the rest of the preseasons. In episode 1, we'll look at our All-American preseason nominees, and then we will get the season started against the Mean Green of North Texas. But anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. I hope you're ready for Season 6. Let me know who you think our standout player is going to be. I'm excited. We're up to the year 2018, Season 6, with the Bobcats of San Marcos and Texas State. As always, thanks for watching. God bless. I will see you all next time. Go Bobcats.